everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. These are my reading statistics for quarter 2 of 2023. Today I'm going to be talking about both quarters, actually quarter 1 and quarter 2 and comparing them. I'm going to be talking about my pages read, books read, average rating, most popular genre, all of that good stuff. I have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to go through quite quickly, but not too quickly because I do really enjoy these stats videos, so I do want to kind of savor them and explain things properly. So without further ado, let's scooch over, replace my camera battery because it's dying already. Let's get started. I really need to get my fringe cut, which is why I'm currently in a state, so let's just get it out of the way. Okay, starting off, I'm going to talk about the number of books that I've read so far this year, and that is 100 books. I don't know how I managed that. I'm really pleased with myself because normally I aim to read about 100 books. For the past few years I have been reading a little bit faster than that, but I'm not really trying to go any faster, it's just happening, probably due to stress. If I quickly have a look, I read 38 books in quarter 2 in total, compared to 63 books in quarter 1. So I almost halved my reading, and as you can see from this chart, that's because my reading has been decreasing since April. The reason for this is basically because work has been really busy. I came back from holiday in June to complete and utter madness. It has been very stressful. So that's why my reading has been decreasing, but I'm happy to report in July it has been going better, so don't you worry about that. Overall, really pleased that I've made it to 100 already. I'm not going to try to get to 200 because I don't think that's doable. I'd be happy to just stop here, except that would mean that I'm not reading at all over the next half of the year. So that would be really silly. I haven't actually added up the amount of pages that I've read because I thought I had, but I hadn't, which is really bad of me. In April, I read 5,387 pages and then I just stopped counting. However, I did calculate my average rating, and in April it was 3.73. In May it was 3.95, and in June it was 3.94, which is so good. This nearly 4-star rating, and all of these ratings are higher than all of my monthly ratings back in the first quarter of the year. 3.95 might be my highest average rating ever, and all of these ratings together brings me to an average of 3.87, which is absolutely brilliant. I love that. 5 of the books that I read in this quarter were rereads. There was 1 in April and 4 in May. I'm not going to talk about the books in a series that I've read because I'm going to do a whole separate video on that soon, so don't worry, stay tuned for that. That'll be here eventually. But I have been doing quite well with my series reading, which you will see in my next video. So far this year, 80% of the books that I have read have been physical books compared to 84% just in the last quarter. 17.3% have been ebooks, 2.7% have been audiobooks. So I'm getting more back into ebooks recently, partly because I went on holiday and I didn't want to lug a load of books with me, so I was reading from my Kindle. I'm really pleased with this because I do need to read more of my ebooks than I have been reading recently. So far this year, 59.1% of the books that I've read have been adult books, 20% have been YA, 14.5% have been new adult, and 6.4% have been middle grade. I don't really have much to say about this other than my YA and new adult percentages are a bit higher than I thought they would be. Like with a lot of booktubers who started around the same time as me or who I speak to, I am leaning more towards adult books than YA. That's nothing new. I think it's just going to happen more and more as I get older. But the YA books that I have been reading have been really good. I'll talk about that in a bit. So far this year, 42.6% of the books that I've read have been from the library because I've been trying to utilise my library more to show the tourists that it is still necessary, and also so that I stop buying books. Obviously, I haven't done that. I am still buying loads of books, but my local libraries do have really good catalogues, which is really, really good and beneficial for me. So I have been utilising it more. 21 of the books that I have read have been books that I owned pre-2023, and 16 of the books that I have read have been ones that I've bought in 2023, which isn't great because, well, it's good because I'm reading them, but it's not good because I shouldn't have bought that many books. I've read 14 books from NetGalley, a couple from Audible, and a couple that I got from the publisher. So nothing too exciting there. This is the chart compared to earlier on this year. So as you can see, I was doing really well reading my pre-owned before 2023 books in the first 3 months of the year, and then I just went wild as the year went on. So I do need to kind of get a handle on that, I think, because my zero TBR is not going too great, but I will talk about that in another video. I do have a zero TBR update coming in about a month's time. I'm focusing on ARC August in August, and then in September I'll start talking about my zero TBR again, so stay tuned for that. 76.2% of the books that I've read have been traditionally published, self-published, and 21.9% have been indie, and then there's a couple of self-published books in there, I think. Nothing new here at all. I always lean more towards traditionally published books. 57.3% of the books that I've read have been parts of a series. Again, I'll talk more about this in another series video because I'm going to be talking about the books that I have, or series that I've caught up with, or DNF'd, or am continuing. And then 38% of the books that I've read have been standalones. This is kind of how the year's been going so far. This is what last quarter's chart looked like, so very similar. I can't remember what it was like last year, but I have a feeling I was reading more standalone books, but I'm making an actual effort this year to read more series and finish them and recap them. It wouldn't surprise me if the graph is shifting a little bit. For my diversity count, you can see here that I've got a good kind of diversity going on. Most of the books that I read have a combination of types of diversity. This could be like queer characters who also have a disability. 12, I think, of the books that I've read so far this year have had no diversity at all, and those are usually like non-fiction books. As for star ratings, which I am probably going to do a deep dive into in another video, let me know if you'd be interested in that. I want to talk about my 5-star reads or any kind of star rating and see what the trends are. I did this at the end of 2022 and 2021, and it was really interesting. So I think I might do that like around my birthday if you guys want me to. My biggest kind of chunk of the pie chart is 4 stars. 54 of the books that I've read so far this year have been 4-star reads, which is amazing. 7 of the books that I've read have been 5-star reads. I will talk about those in another video soon. It's been 1 4.5-star read, 13 3.5 stars, 23 3 stars, and the rest have been less than 2.5, which isn't actually too bad. I think my taste in books is improving. As for genres, this is what the breakup looks like. So as you can see, I'm reading more fantasy again. I'm so excited because I love fantasy books, and I've been in the biggest fantasy reading slump for years. I've been mainly focusing on thrillers and contemporary books, but now I think my fantasy era is coming back. Are we still saying era? So 28% of the books that I've read so far have been fantasy books, 23% have been contemporary books, 12% have been thriller, and then everything else is taking up the rest of the chart. We've got a couple of paranormal books in there, some dystopian, historical, 4 humour books. I still don't know what those humour books are. Should I search for that and find out? Nothing is humour. What is going on with this chart? Oh, I changed it to post-apocalyptic, but then didn't change the label. Okay, so 4 of the books have been post-apocalyptic. Oh, the rest of these are all dodgy as well. Are any of my stats correct? Okay, the rest are all fine. That was weird. I do have 2 litterers there though. I should delete that. I'm so sorry, I don't know what's going on. For publication years, this bloody chart never cooperates. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know I have so much trouble with this chart because I can't get it to go in chronological order, which is really frustrating. But you can see here from the longest line that 2022 is my most popular release year. I don't think this chart is entirely up to date because I feel like I'm missing a couple of numbers in the middle. Clearly my spreadsheet is not the most accurate, but I will make sure I update it properly before the next quarter because I can't deal with these inconsistencies. My next highest is 2023 with 9 books so far, and then 2017, and then 2018 I think, tied with 2021. So obviously I'm mainly reading new releases. That's to be expected. I don't mind that at all. As of recording this, my publisher chart isn't working. It's blank, so this is a complete disaster. I'm so sorry about this video, but I will put it here. I imagine my most read publisher is going to be Penguin Random House because they own absolutely everything, and then 65% of the books I read have been from authors that I've read before, 19% have been debut authors, and the remaining 14% have been new to me authors. So this is a pretty normal split for me. I do try to read more debut books, but I've really not been focusing on that at all this year, just because I felt like I needed a break and I wanted to read more kind of established authors too. I don't really know why. I think I was just getting burnt out on trying to promote debuts, but maybe I'll go back to that in the future. I don't think there's anything else I really need to talk about because I'm talking about my series in my next one, apart from my countries map, which is my favorite chart of the whole spreadsheet. It's honestly, I love it so much. So I'm going to start with the US, and we're going to talk about the US states that I have read from. So you're not going to see my face now because I'm going to need to zoom in to really show you these charts. But basically what I do is I track the countries of books that I've read from. Preferably the authors should also be from those countries or have been living there for like a decent length of time. I obviously don't track that for states in the US unless the authors or books are set in Hawaii or Alaska, just because it's really difficult to tell if an author was born in like Idaho or something, and it's not really as important to me as reading books from other countries. So yeah, onto the charts. Okay, so starting off with the US, we'll go from the top, I think. We have Washington. I have read a few books from Washington. I think that's why it's a darker purple by the looks of it. Coming down, we have California, Nevada. Nothing in this area. Normally I have some from Texas, so it's a bit odd that I don't have any Texas books. Maybe I'll try to do that. But I don't think I ever read anything from like the Dakotas or Idaho as far as I can remember. So maybe I should try to find something that is set around here. I do have a couple of books from Hawaii that I have read, so that's why that's on the charts. I've got Iowa and Illinois, Tennessee and Louisiana, Georgia, Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts and Maine, and I think that is it. I thought I had Rhode Island, but I think that might have been last year. So that's my states chart. I'd like to read something by some Alaskan natives, maybe some more Hawaiian natives as well, and then yeah, maybe try to tackle some more in the middle here, because I've clearly not really done that. Okay, and then moving on, we have my map of South America, and this is somewhere that I did want to focus on more this year, because I find that I'm only ever reading like one from one country in South America. There's never really any consistency. Previously it was Ecuador, I think, but yeah, now I do have a few countries, actually 3. I've got Chile and Bolivia and also Ghana. I think I'd like to try to read one from Brazil and Argentina soon. I think I've got actually one from Colombia coming up, if I can remember correctly, so that would be cool. I'd really like to read from those countries and continue adding to my charts. And then we've got Europe, obviously. This is going quite well this year. I'm reading from some more countries in Eastern Europe like I wanted to. I'll go into a bit more detail in a second, actually. Let's just look at the countries. So I've got the UK, Spain, Norway, Sweden, Lithuania, Russia again there because it's split up, and Romania. So coming up, I do have some books from Italy and Greece to read. I don't think I've read much from Germany, so I'd like to read a bit more from there, and I've got a couple from Poland as well on my shelf, so I'm going to try to do that. I really hope this is Poland, what I'm pointing at here. I also have some non-fiction set in Ukraine or about Ukraine, so I'd like to read that. But I think I need to read some more from this area here. So like Croatia, for example, would be really cool. And maybe a book from Turkey. So yeah, there are still some areas that I'd like to read from. I will show you my full country map in a moment after I've shown you these other ones from this year, to show you every country I have ever read from, or at least that I can remember reading from. And some more of these are filled in. We'll go over that after this. And then we have Asia, which I'm not really reading much from this year, which is surprising. Normally I read a little bit more. So we have Yemen and Oman over here. And then we've got Bangladesh, Vietnam, and I think that's it. I'm trying to see past my camera. I definitely read some from Japan and the Koreas last year. China would be a really good one to read from, because I don't think I've really read much from there. I've got a couple from India and also Pakistan to read about soon, or to read from soon, so that would be cool. I don't really have much from, I guess, up here, the countries that are bordering Russia, which I can't remember which ones they are. Are they Mongolia and Kazakhstan? I don't know, my geography in this sort of area is not great. And then here is all of this together. It's basically what I just spoke about, so you can see in slightly less detail, less zoomed in. Oh my god, and there's Tanzania as well. Completely forgot that I didn't have some of the continents on my map. So I've got Tanzania, and I also got Australia and New Zealand, but I'm most excited about Tanzania because that's the first book I've ever read from Tanzania. And then I'm really quickly going to show you my overall country chart, which again shows you every country I have ever read from, at least that I can remember. I think I've been updating this. Now I'm not so sure, I'm a bit paranoid, so let's zoom right in and see what's going on. Okay, we've got Canada, Greenland, Iceland, USA, Mexico, the Bahamas here, which are these islands. We've got Dominican Republic, we've got Tobago. I haven't added Ghana, but we do have French Guiana, which is different. Ecuador, like I was saying earlier, Peru, Bolivia and Chile. Shall I add Ghana while we're here? Over to the middle to GMT and Europe, we've got Svalbard, Sweden. I don't think I've added Norway. UK, Ireland, the Netherlands. I don't think I've got Belgium. France, Spain, Italy, Greece down here, Romania, Poland, Czech Republic, Lithuania. I haven't added Russia, so I'll do that now. Let me just sort myself out. Okay, I am so sorry, this is a mess. Yeah, I said Poland and Czech Republic. I don't have one from Germany, and I thought I did, but I guess not. My German cousins are going to be very upset with me. And then moving down to Africa, we've got Egypt, Nigeria, Ghana, Botswana, and we should have Tanzania. Clearly I haven't updated this in a while. So I'm not doing great in Africa considering how many countries there are. I think I've got, actually I don't know, I think I've got one set in Morocco. I don't have anything for this area, I don't think, coming up. I think I do have one book set in Somalia maybe, so I'm gonna have to look into that. And then I've got one set in South Africa for sure. So I can start filling this up, I just need to focus on those books. And then moving over to the Middle East, we've got Syria and Jordan here, Yemen and Oman again, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Malaysia, and I thought I had Cambodia, but obviously not. And then I've got Australia and New Zealand and Fiji up here as well. So yeah, I could be doing a little bit better in South America and Africa as usual, and also this area of Asia and the Middle East. So yeah, that's definitely something I would like to focus on, because I think it's important to read as widely as possible from different countries, especially if you're reading from native speakers. I really enjoy traveling, and it's not possible for me to go to every single one of these countries, so I really like to read from as many of them as I can, because then it's kind of like traveling there, just not quite as cool. So yeah, that's how that's going, and with that I'm going to end my stats video here. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of it. If you have any book recommendations set in the countries that I mentioned that I need to get to, let me know in the comments below, because I am always looking for recommendations. If you're wondering how I set any of these charts up, I use Google Sheets. I particularly get some questions about the country and world maps, and that's actually really simple. You can put a list of the countries into Google Sheets and it can generate a map for you. I can do a video on that if you want me to, but I promise you probably don't need a whole video because it is really, really simple. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how your reading is going this quarter in the comments below, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye.